Contrary to popular belief, some people don't like ribs. Go figure. So to take care of them, we're going to do some tri-tip steaks as well. We're going to start out the same way. We're going to use an olive oil, extra virgin of course, and we're going to drizzle them a little bit. Now this is going to look like an awful lot of oil for these guys as well, but it's just like the ribs. What we don't use will fall off. I just need to make sure I have enough to coat them thoroughly with the olive oil. So all I'm going to do is rub them like this and kind of rub them around like so, just to make sure we have plenty of olive oil covering the meat. Now this is the exact same reason. It keeps the meat a little bit moister, but more importantly, it gives the rubs something to stick to. And I also actually believe that it helps the smoke get in. I could be wrong there, but I've never had a problem having olive oil on my steaks like this. Okay, the spices we're going to use today, we're going to have a variation. So we have the tried and true Montreal steak by Grill Mates. It works really good on these, and I've used this quite a bit. Same kind of premise as with the ribs. You want to have enough to cover the meat, but not so much that that's all you're going to taste, right? And you just want to push it into the meat. The second season we're going to use is another Penzi Spices. This is their Barbecue 3000, and we're going to do the same thing with that on a few of these. This looks a little different because it's got a paprika in it, so it kind of gives it a different color. Alright, you can see that we have rub on both sides along with the olive oil. These are ready to go into cold smoke now. We'll go there next. Alright, to cold smoke the beef, we're going to use the same trick that we're using with the steaks. We're going to use a product made by the same folks that made the cylinder I showed you earlier. I remember now, it's Amazing Products LLC, and they make a really good product. This one, you put the pellets in, same way you did with the cylinder. You can light it on either end, and it'll slowly smoke around. Alright, this has been on fire for about 5 minutes. Time to blow it out. And you can see we get plenty of smoke out of that. Now this is a Brinkmann grill. I've modified the cooking surface a little bit, but the really neat thing about this grill is it also has a smoker on the bottom. Now I don't use the heat elements on the smoker for this. I'm just going to slide this into the bottom, like so, and you'll see that the smoke is going to start coming up onto these racks. Now it's time to put the meat onto the racks. Same thing, we want to keep them separated enough so they're not touching. Like so. Alright, now we're just going to close this door. We're going to let that sit in the smoke while we do the ribs. Alright, the steak has been in the cold smoke for about 3 hours, so we're going to pull it out now while the ribs finish, and then we'll just grill it up at the very end, and it'll be ready to go. We still have a little bit of smoke in there. You'll notice the steak is still raw, but now it has that wonderful smoke flavor. And that's it. Alright, the temperature gauge shows 550, but the actual grilling temperature, because this is a customized system with grill grates from grillgrate.com, the actual cooking temperature is probably more around 800 degrees, which is nice because we're going to get a really nice sear marks on the steaks. We're going to lay them on this direction, and the reason is because in a couple minutes we're going to turn them to get those crisscross grill marks that everybody loves so much. Now we don't have to close the lid, but I'm going to anyway, just out of habit. Alright, it's been exactly 2 minutes. If we look at the bottom of one of these, you'll see that it's got some marks on it already. We're going to put these this direction now. We're going to wait another 2 minutes before we turn them over. Alright, it's been another 2.5 minutes, and you can see the sizzling here. These guys are ready to turn over. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start them off this direction. See those beautiful grill marks? That one looks a little dark, but that's okay. You gotta love that grill grate. Beautiful results every time. All right, it's been 2 minutes. You can see they already have grill marks. We're gonna turn them all the opposite direction that they are now. Notice how there's no flare-ups for 2 seconds. That's another benefit of the grill grate cooking service. In 2 more minutes, these should be ready to take off. All right, it's been 2 minutes. These should be ready to take off. Let's look at both sides. You can see, and they feel nice and firm inside. We're going to let these rest for about 10 minutes before we cut them open for all of the juices to redistribute. Alright, you can see that the center of the meat is still nice and pink, but the outside is cooked perfectly, so that should work out well. You can also see on the ribs the smoke ring right here. Alright, and the best part about cooking is watching people enjoy it. Woo! Is it okay, guys?
Yeah!
Alright.
Yum, yum.